Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're gonna start with a simple fun project I like to do. It's gonna be divided into a couple of different parts. Today we're gonna start with part 1. The idea of this project is for anyone that wants to start 3D modeling, and it's based on when we were little kids where we like to play with simple shaped objects like toys, things, little trains, wooden toys, things like that. So today I have already a library of several toys, but the toy that of maybe my choosing today is gonna be this little piano. Melissa dog. My daughter has had a lot of these fun little toys at the time. I chose this one because, like, when we start to draw in the more traditional sense, we always start with basic shapes and we'll go from there. The idea of this series of videos is going to be achieving to one point and then starting to add in more detail to go further and further, taking as far as we can go on this project. So here we go, and this is the little piano. It's nice and simple shapes. If I were to look at it shape wise, we have on the sides we have literally some squares and an angle. Let's go. Everything nice, everything is basic shapes. We have elongated squares. We can go from there. Volume here, the key parts, on the keyboard, again more elongated cubes. So what I like about this guy, it's a group of basic cubes just aligned and edited. Also, what it's going to be fun about this exercise is to give a little bit of a challenge to have fun with it. Is I will not be bringing my reference into Maya, so it's going to be just by looking at it, almost in an old-fashioned traditional art painting class. You were looking at the object that you reference from one angle and try to replicate it in paper. So this time around, we're going to be replicating it in 3D world. So let's go into our software, Maya. I'm gonna minimize this guy. The image, I do have it right here. I'm gonna have it on the side on a different monitor so I can have it always present with me. And here we go. In Maya, I already have set my project and we're good to go. So let's start with this polygon primitives. We're gonna start with my primitive. Let's start with simple cube. We're gonna call it mesh, and let's call it side panel left underscore left. Like always, it's always good to name every piece we have, everything we know. What I like to do with a polycube, just to start making sense, let's add some subdivisions to an inch so we can have it. Now that I have this nice and shape, let me make it brighter. There we go. Now that it's brighter, let's move the pointer to that section. So if I were to move, let's go to the front view. Sorry. Snap it. So we have in the ground piece, but it's gonna go scale it. So we have, there we go. Nice and simple. Let's just go and skin it a little bit. This part right now, what I'm doing is kind of like till here, till this section here. So we're gonna go to that section there. Let's go back to 1 and everything. And we'll make it that should be as high as we want it and as thick. Now what we're gonna do one more time, what I'm gonna do is with holding D, it lets us edit our gizmo. V as in Victor for our vertex, and let's put it on this corner. Now holding X for snap onto the grid, and there we go. So we have it right nice and there where we want. So we can play a little bit with the thickness. There we go. So we know it's the side panel. Perfect. We have it right there in our outliner. And now we're gonna go to the side view where we can look at it easier. This guy. So if we look at our reference images, right here we have this point, and then we have almost to this top of the section, it extends for the legs. So what we can do is all of our tools, a lot of the tools we're going to be in will be in our mesh tools, and I love the one I prefer to use a lot is the insert edge loop tool, which gives it the tool that we need right there. And it gives, if I go into, it makes a perfect loop all around our object. Let's go to the bottom section as well for the leg. There we go. So kind of like that section. And so we have this guy. If we need to move, slightly down there. And let's have, I'm doing Y, which repeats the last tool you used. And there we go, right there. Perfect. So now I'm gonna go to faces. Now this is a nice trick that I like to use when I'm modeling. If you see the faces, we're gonna see it right there. But there times are accidents when we are modeling. So what I like to do is I go into the settings, and then if I look at the polygon, yes, it's here, face, I activate centers and I hit save. Let me, object mode, select it again, face. Doesn't want it to do it. Let me see. Okay. Display in polygons, centers. There you go. That should be normal. Display. This face centers. This is something we like to do. I personally love to do that. Right now it's not liking it. Let me try something. It's not liking it today. I don't know why. It's okay. Okay. So we're just gonna grab this face right here to get this area right here, and let's extrude it. Control E for extrude. And we're just gonna pull it slightly forward. Right now we're just making the rough shape. I'm gonna go as that section. Then for the leg part, it's gonna go another extrude. But if we see, it's roughly at the same height. So in order so we can align perfect things, we extrude, we pull it forward, then W, and then by holding, making sure that we are on the face, we select the Z option. Use the whatever direction you have selected, the arrow becomes yellow, so I'm gonna select that one. I'm gonna hold B, and with the middle mouse button, I'm gonna hit that. So that helps me make sure that they are aligned. So there we go. They are aligned to we're the same height. But we're not getting there quite there. Okay. So what we see, let's start from the bottom up. So we can see that there's a slightly curved right here. So let's go to edge mode. And let's bring this guy slightly down to the back. So it goes that. Now, if we wanted to start giving it, to see how things are looking, we can smooth it by pressing 3. It looks funky, absolutely, but that's okay. This is something that we will work in on a different point. And then if we see here, then we get this area, this rounded section on the top. So in order to make that one, we need something to help us maintain that shape. So if I hit edge mode, select those two, if I put them back, it moves the same. So I need at center edge to help me keep that roundiness going on. So what I'm gonna do, there's two options to make it. I'm gonna show you both ways. My favorite one is if I go insert edge loop tool option box, which is this guy right here, And there's this guy that says multiple edge loop, edge, and then it says equal multiply. That means that it will measure exactly between the 2 points and divide them equally. So for example, if I just put 1, no matter where I click, so I'm going to click right here, very close to the top area, it will measure from these 2 and it's right at the center. I love that tool because it helps you, especially later on in more advanced projects. It helps you keep your edge flow much simpler to a degree. Also, what is really nice about this, if you, for example, if I were to hit 3 or 4, when I hit once again, now I'm going to do it on the top part. It divided exactly and it gave me a 4 right away. So that's what I love about it too. So let's go with 1 right now and press done. Now if I hit, there we go. We started getting that roundiness. Nice. Also, if we want to smooth it out to be not as much, is we can go to the same edge loop, making sure. So we have 1 here, 1 here. We know they're equidistant. I can grab those 2 edges, this guy and this guy, holding shift and pulling slightly up. And there we are. They're waiting there. You're getting the nice curve right there. Let's look a little bit. So we have this same thing happening right here. So let's do the same. Let's use the tool. Just one in the center. Let's select this guy right here and push it slightly forward. So we're getting it nice and simple. Right now, we're just making sure our shapes are fully complete. There, we're getting there. If we get 3, it's not gonna look right, but that's okay. That will be for a later video once again. So we have this. Now we have here, we have kind of like a rounded up. So let's see if technically we're gonna grab this edge. Let's actually gonna have a fun trick that I like. If we hold W and left mouse click, we're gonna switch to component. So that what it does, it looks at the angle of your edge and it helps you move it in that direction. There we go. So it's slightly, it's not that much. So slightly up, not too much. Because then this guy, let's go back to world. Let's push this guy slightly back. And so we can keep our nice edge flow correct. We're gonna hold Y, V for Victor. So we're keeping it very close to what we have right here. I'm gonna leave it like that right now for there. Also, to help me organize myself better, I'm gonna create a display layer. I'm gonna call it layer underscore side panel. No. Save. So that way it's there. We can do transparent. We can hold it as reference so we don't touch it by accident, or it's open so you can always select it, but you can also make it invisible. So it's a nice way to protect whatever you already have modeled, and it's there so you can use it or change it as you need. Also, what it's nice is if you look at your layer settings, you can actually change the colors right here. So for example, if I'm gonna go to blue here, and if I activate the wireframe mode, and we can see it the color our wireframe. So we want green. This goes the green color there, so it helps us stay a little bit organized better. The only thing is, I would say be very careful which colors you choose, because Maya already has very predefined colors. If you switch it to reference, it goes back to the black and to the black solid log. There you go. Okay, but not quite yet, because this is a fun trick. I'm gonna move it to the side. So there we have it there. So if we look at it from the front, let's just say that our piano is gonna be, since it's that height, let's put it has some equality. It's not 100%. So let's move slightly. So it's a rectangle from here to here. Let's go like that. Slightly not a perfect square. But let's go here and then slightly. So if we were to use our symmetry line right here, our piano should be something along those lines. But not just yet. So what I'm going to do is something fun here. I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to just zero it out. What that means is its location, its scale, its translation, I'm going to bring it back to normal. So it's edit, it's modify, freeze transformations. So boom, it goes everything back to normal. And then what I'm going to do is the gizmo, I'm going to move it to here to the center, like almost if it was the symmetry point. Have it that around, and I'm going to duplicate it. Hit Control D. So if you can see, we have two now, one L regular L and L1. The L1, I'm going to switch it to right. But here's the fun part. Because we're working with the front X is our division, with front Z, I'm going to hit scale X -1. And voila. There we have it. That is the beauty of 3D. Work on one side, get the other one ready. There we go. How easy was that? Perfect. So we have this one. Let's make its own layer. Always. It might seem tedious to a certain degree, but trust me, in the long run, in your projects, the more organized you are, the better it will last. Okay, so I'm gonna freeze them right now because I want them to be useful to us, but not in the way. So we have our panels for now. So now let's roughly make the body. We can make it a couple ways. We can have let's make it the easiest way possible. So let's make another box. Create polygons cube. This cube again, we're just gonna divide it 2 to 2. There we go. Finally they work. Our face centers. That's what I was hoping for. And I'll explain why those are really important in a second. Okay. So let's go front again. There we are. Then we're gonna go X, B, B, B. Here, my friend. Why do you want to align to the box? There we go. Next, we go up. And I'm gonna align you guys to this guy for 1 second. No, we want one in the center. Okay. BB. Let's play with me today. D, B. There we go. X. Perfect. So we have it right at center. So what we're gonna do right now, for the fun of it, we're going to faces, and I'm going to fully delete my left side. And why are you doing that, Professor? I don't get it. Or why are you doing that, Yanis? I don't get it. Why is that? We're gonna do something really awesome that I like to. It's called instincts. So here, what we're gonna do is edit. We're gonna make what's called a duplicate special option box. If you see this guy, you have a copy, you have an instance. So we're gonna do an instance. That's right. Now we want to make sure it's within the parent of our object, and the big difference, like when I duplicate it, I'm going to do -1 on scale X, and I'm just going to hit duplicate special. And you see, we have 2 objects right there. What it's really awesome about this trick, if I go vertex and I select this guy and start moving it, it replicates everything it does from one side to the other. So now, and what it also works with, if I were to delete something, edit mesh tools, and edit mesh, delete edge vertex, it applies it to the other side as well. It applies it to the other side as well. So that's what it's a very nice trick to have. So now having that trick in our hand, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select vertex and I'm gonna line it up to this guy right here. So B, make sure it's W, B to this guy, B to, it's almost to the bottom of that section. So let's go to this guy right here. Now this guy, we want to align the height to this side. This one, we want to align the height to this guy. This one, align the height to that guy. This one, here's the trick. If we look at it, and we're gonna do the main shape, let's gonna start to this side. So let's align the W, and we're gonna align it to right here. Okay. And then this guy, we're gonna align it to right here. So this little vertex, we are going to align it to on Z to this guy. This guy on Z to this guy. So right, and then this guy and Y to here. So there we go. We have roughly the main shape of the body. Now, if we see we have the keyboard, which is almost this section right here to the top. So if we see is to this area right here, and then to this area right here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to our edit mesh tool, edit mesh tools, insert edge loop tool, but this time we're gonna go to the option because we want relative distance. That way we can actually slide, because we want to make sure this entire line is to the same height of this vertex. There we go. So now we're going to show the importance of this face, guys. Let's just say that I do an extrude and by accident I hit W, and then you see how there is dot at the edges, but these dots are meant to be at the center of a face, so that means we have a hidden extrude that was not supposed to be there. So that's a neat trick. So we can expand that. We can see it's almost to the edge, something around there. Now, something to keep in mind when we're using the instance side. Whenever we extrude next to the edge, it creates a face here. So I just deleted that face, go to the other side, and then once again I can, as simple as edit, duplicate special, make sure we're an instance, X minus Y. There we go. So now we have this guy, perfect. So now I'm gonna go face, select this guy, and we're gonna do extrude, Control E, move it up to holding the Y section to that height. Okay, I'm gonna delete this side for a second because I want to make sure there's no inside faces. I'm gonna select the edge tool. I'll push it back. Let's see, it has to be inside here, so something around there. So let's push this guy as well inside. So we have. There we go. Let's grab it. Let's get in the shape there. Perfect. Let's do our duplicate it again. Duplicate special. And there we go. Nice. So what can we do now? We have these two pieces that we want to make it into one. How can we do that? There's two steps. We select this two, we go mesh, and combine. They become one. But here's a problem. If I hit 3, you see how it makes this weird thing at the center? That's because if I had vertex, so like here, there's a hole. It doesn't merge or weld those middle vertices. So what we can do is, if you see, we have in different options. In the mesh, we have the vertices options to duplicate to bring them together. Here's in the mesh tool. If we see, we have options to bring them together. What I personally like to do is not because it's right or wrong. I do a loop and select one side and make it smaller, because I want to make sure that there is the less errors. Automatization gives you errors, so the less errors you have is the better. So we go there, and now what I'm going to do is mesh tool, and my favorite tool is target weld. I'm gonna make sure I'm on vertex. I select mesh tool and target weld. So I literally can tell this vertex is gonna weld to this guy. This to this guy. This to this guy. With simple objects, this is the best way. When I have more advanced objects, I try to do it the more automatic way. However, there are times, especially if I have, for example, a humanoid character, and it's the ear I want to weld into the head, I go this way. So now if I hit smooth, it looks nice and smooth here. So we have the main body there. Yay, excellent. Great job, everyone. Now, if you see here, we have these guys right here. This is just the history. So we select an object, it has all the history of everything we have done. Edit, delete by type, history. This object, that's the original object, let's see, it's the P cube. I can literally delete that, nothing happens. So we have the main shape, it's getting there. We have a square, things like that. So now let's go in. Because of the simplicity of this object, I don't want to take much more for part 1. And now we're just going to do the top, and let's do really quick the keys, and let's try to be as simple as we can. So for the keys, we're gonna go another one, create. We're gonna go polygon primitives. We're gonna go cube. So we have I like to have them 2, 2, 2. Makes my life easier. I'm gonna B to the center. And I'm going to align it to this guy right here. So I'm gonna have B. It's huge. How many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 keys. So first things first, let's make it small. Let's make them long. They are slightly less. And let's make them smaller. While we're here, and we move, it's not straight at the edge. So I'm gonna make this one main piano body, and then this guy we're gonna call it mesh wide key 01. Here's the fun part. We have it organized here. We're good. Now, if I duplicate one, hit Control D, you can duplicate it and move it to the side. Give a little bit of space because we can see there's slightly. We have one. The fun part, a fun trick about Maya is that once you have the key and you duplicate one and you set it up the right distance, if you hit Shift D, it gives you the chance to duplicate. So I see to get to the other way is 25 keys. When we counted them, they were only 15, so let's delete them again. Let's make it slightly thicker. We can have it there. Move our space back. And I'm going to duplicate it. Move it to the side again. Leaving it space. And let's Shift D one more time. How's that look? Almost there. So I think 16 and we can get almost there. So let's one more time delete those. Make it I'm gonna make it slightly thicker, a little bit more. So more to the left. Duplicate. Shift D. 15. And I would say too much. Yeah. Too much. A little bit less. We're getting there. We're getting there. If we had our reference inside, this would be a faster process, but the challenge of this exercise was to, without importing the reference into the software. Not yet. Let me play a little bit with this. I might pause the video for a second. Okay, there we go. I got 15 keys. I was able to get it now nice and right the way I want it. And perfect. We have them there. We have our keys. Great job, everyone. Now we need our high pitch keys. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we see those are not in all the correct positions. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate one key. I know these guys are definitely Skinner. Definitely. This one we're gonna hold it. Black key 01. And we know this guy, if we align it, let's get nice and close, should be right at this height. Perfect. So we go the first one, it goes between the first two. There we go. Then we have between the next two and the next two. So we have 3 there. And we have 2. 1 and 2. Okay, there we go. There's the keys there. We got 3. We have 2. Then we need 3 more. Control P. Those 3 here. And then, sorry about that. And then we have these 2 right here. There we go. So we have our black keys and everything, and then to finish it out, we have the last cube. Let's go create polygon cube. Forward a little bit. Polygon cube. All the divisions we need. Let's move to right here. And we're gonna move it right here. We're gonna make it nice and flat. All the way here. You see it's slightly above our. Let's make it slightly. It is skinny. Okay. And then to finish giving it detail, let's go back to one. All of this one's to 1. So now, once we have this set up, we know it's slightly big on either side. We go to modify this once again, mesh tools, insert edge loop tool, multiple edge loops because we want the center. We know that face wise, let's go slightly forward. And then the center edge, grab that, and then it has a little bit of last tool right here, and skip. So we have that little shape. And there we go. So with that, let's turn off the face centers. Polygons. Face centers. Save. And the last cube, let's call it piano top. And with that, our very simple piano, it's there. If we were to look at it, we have the indentations and everything. Those are far more detailed for this first exercise. This, I would say, is a very nice and low poly version to try to start. And with that, I will call it that's the end of part 1. For part 2, what we're gonna do now is take everything we have done and some pieces will be deleted because we're gonna start creating those extra details to give it a smooth shape, a more realistic touch. One could say that right now this is a very low poly model, ready for maybe PlayStation 1, I don't know, or something like that, or even virtual reality or even augmented reality exercise. So thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. And if you have any more ideas or anything specifically that you would like to learn or ask, feel free to drop a comment down by. Well, thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.